gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the Hub City in Indiana. He goes by @2SweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I'm your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi, and not always joined by the full-time part-timer, but he decided to make his grand return after being sick for, it seemed like months. Ladies and gentlemen, he is here. It is Mono Avalia, Ian Garavaglia. Ian, how you doing, brother?
I am alive. Thank you for asking. I've been out for a while. The first 2 weeks were not leaving my bed. I lost a good 10, 12 pounds. So we lost some weight. So, hey, hell of a weight loss journey. Incredible for the workout journey. Yeah, we haven't been back in the gym yet. So we're going to find that out in a couple weeks. Very tired, but we're alive.
Did you miss the chat?
Hot sauce, what? Tabasco sauce, what? Yeet sauce, what? That's a lot.
That's our MVM right there. Bill Moss is on a hot streak right now. I mean, he puts the hot in hot sauce for sure. We also got Robbie Collins in the house, which, by the way, just announced that his podcast with Kine has officially returned the Turnbuckle Talk Zone, so be on the lookout for their return episode. Excited to see what the boys come up with there. Kine very excited, too, that you are back, as he is now supporting Sol Ruca. That man, he hops on bandwagons very fast.
That man was, I'll give it to him. He was a Sol Ruca guy from the beginning, I guess you could say. He gave up on Kalani Jordan. So, tough. That's tough.
I don't know if he gave up quite yet, but she's at least is not the profile picture anymore. So that's breaking news in the OTM community. But Ian, if the listeners that are maybe listening at a later time didn't know, why were you not with us for the past couple weeks? What was going on with your life?
Yeah, so I'm wearing my hat because I'm trying to reconnect the dots here. The last time you guys have seen me was the episode before the Royal Rumble, actually the prediction show. Had a fantastic weekend, obviously. If you haven't seen the vlog, do it, because that basically recaps our vlog. Very fun time. Yeah, very good vlog, very fun time. Hopefully do more of those in the future. But, got sick Sunday with mono, and if you don't know what mono is, it's basically like it's a virus, so it's not great. And sometimes the side effects are the worst part. Like, that's the worst part about mono, especially on the first time you get it. And once you have it, you never kind of lose it. About 97% of people end up having mono by the end of their lives, so little lesson for you guys there.
So you're saying I'm going to get it, huh?
Well, unless we're kissing, then no. I think you'll be good. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've done that yet, but
no.
Jury's still out on that one. There's plenty of time left. We don't discriminate over here. But Dirk Vogus is in the chat. He said, "I am glad that you are doing better." And Dirk, that's a pretty good name.
Well, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk Van Fleet.
And Dirk Vogus made an appearance in that vlog, which, by the way, is still available on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Our guest that we are about to introduce here in about a minute was fortunately the winner of our 400 subscriber giveaway. It ended up working out. We're staying in the main event family. So congrats to JGold, who we're going to introduce here in a second. But guys, we are at 408 subscribers currently. Be a friend and tell a friend. We are live every single Thursday night. The time varies, so make sure you're following us at Pod on the Mark for more information. And Ian, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about the Main Event Wrestling Network?
Yeah, Main Event Wrestling Network. We are just one podcast of many, and obviously we're always looking for more. But we're basically, if you want to bring it into wrestling terms, we're a conglomeration of wrestling fans and wrestling lovers. We literally, our only purpose is to spread the love of wrestling because it's what we do, it's what we love. This is just a hobby. We don't make that much money, if any, when we're doing this. So trying to bring in like-minded individuals, whoever does vlogs. We used to have some meme makers, kind of taking a little hiatus, but they're still in the mix. You name it, we have it, and you name it, we want it. So if you're looking to make any logos, if you're looking to make any art, reach out to us. If you love pro wrestling, that's basically the only thing we need on your resume.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of art, Robbie Collins had also meant to say he loves the thumbnail graphic, very bright and cool to look at. Yeah, I told you guys, I'm going to take 2025 seriously. We're stepping things up over here, so make sure you're subscribed and along for the ride. But I think we've talked enough. Let's bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. You have seen him before on previous Main Event Mixers. You may have heard him on his podcast, The Indie Wrestling Guys. Ladies and gentlemen, JGold is here. Welcome to OTM, my friend. How you doing tonight?
I am great. It is episode 235, if I am to understand, and I too have had mono at one point. I also am done with Kalani Jordan, and yeah, I'm very excited to be here. So let's get it going. I've watched a lot of wrestling this week, so
jeez,
let's go.
Yeah, there was so much wrestling on from last week, and then of course your weekly television, but. JGold, if the audience isn't familiar with you and what you guys do at the Indie Wrestling Guide, why don't you take this moment to explain what you guys got cooking over there?
Yeah, so we are, and we're getting into the video game too, but right now we are a audio podcast. We're the Indie Wrestling Guide. It's been around for several years at this point. It started out as the IWTV Guide, and we switched up. We've gone through a few groups of hosts, and now we are the Indie Wrestling Guide. We interview indie wrestling talent. We review indie shows. My co-host Charlie Butters and Ref Jayhawk. Ref Jayhawk is a real indie referee. He is from Cleveland, and so is Charlie Butters is from Ohio as well. And they and the three of us do a podcast that comes out at midnight every Thursday. If you want to hear us, this week was Aspen the Mermaid. I was out sick. Another week of getting hammered by some kind of virus or something, but we interviewed Aspen the Mermaid this week. Last week was Gary J. Next week, we're going to be reviewing the Enjoy show that just came out a few weeks ago and dropped on YouTube. So if you like indie wrestling and you want to talk about all that goes on in indie wrestling, check out our show. We try to cover it all.
And that you guys do very well. Now, we've stated numerous times on this podcast, we love the indies. We just don't have enough time to keep up with it as much as you guys do, which is crazy to me, JGold, because, you know, the rest of, at least I'm assuming, the rest of your co-hosts don't watch as much television wrestling, correct?
They
so
do
the fact
not.
that you are also keeping up with TV wrestling, you got to just be glued to the TV 24/7.
Well, you know what? I love wrestling. It's always on. It's the only thing that's never let me down. And my daughter is really into it. So to nurture it, we watch a lot of wrestling. And my wife is more than happy to just leave us be. She hates wrestling. So we get a ton of wrestling in this house. I have plenty of time to catch up at nighttime. And you know what? It's something I like to do. I don't have a whole lot of hobbies, and wrestling is one of them, though.
Yeah, that's something we can agree on. And we were talking a little bit before we recorded. Also big sports fans, as the hockey matches in the background right now, USA versus Canada. Of course, the boys over here are pulling for the United States, and they're going to get the victory. So, Kine does have a question for you, JGold. He says, do you know who Joe Landa is?
Joe Landa. Joe Lando or Joe I don't know who that is. I'm not quite sure that name.
Is there a punchline coming?
Yeah,
are we being set up?
It is. Hit me with it. I'm good there. And Phil Moss never let me down. Never. I did watch 2020 Raw. It was always on. Wrestling was on during COVID. It was on during. It's never not been on, and since I've been a kid, you gotta. I just love it. I don't care if it's bad. Even bad wrestling is good wrestling.
This is true. Kind of like pizza and kind of like sex. Robbie says, good work you guys do at IW Guide. Overseas in the UK, man. The indies are very big, specifically in Scotland. ICW on top. I don't know if you're too familiar with
We do ICW. We do Pro Wrestling Revolution, Revolution Pro. I'm sorry. We do a lot of Japan wrestling. So if you ever want to listen to something ridiculous, there's an episode with me, Ed from Pod Van Dam, which used to be a really popular indie wrestling podcast, and we watched a show called Gleet, and we did a bunch of shows from a small bar where they wrestled in a bathroom. So you check out some of our episodes. We reviewed some of the most ridiculous Japanese wrestling shows you will ever see in your life. We watched one that they wrestled in a shopping mall for out in Pennsylvania, and they did a battle royal in front of the Forever 21. We watch everything. So come and check it out. And I think if you like garbage wrestling too, we watch a lot of garbage wrestling.
Love that. Kine says, to answer the question, he's an Englishman, no punchline. Does indies, been in Japan and over in the UK in a few
check it
American
out.
show.
Always up to check it out. And Tim Vicious, I've been to a Kaiju Big Battle that was out of New York. They did one in New York City at the it's at the Hammerstein or Roseland Ballroom, and I have been to one of those. That's been around for a long time. So if you guys haven't heard of that, it's a bunch of guys dressing up like kaijus in like giant costumes. The ring has like cities in it, like rubber cities and towns, and they destroy it while they wrestle each other in the ring, and it is absolutely awesome. So I would absolutely, I highly suggest it. Yes, wrestling rules.
How can you not love professional wrestling? That's why we're all here, folks. And Tim Vicious says, "All hail Dr. Cube." I'm
correct.
Sure that's a reference that you would understand. But one last thing before we get into this jam-packed week of pro wrestling. I forgot to mention that we have merch available at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. Listen, guys, I know the orders take a while to get there. I don't know why they do. It's just how things are going right now. But this is a great way to support the podcast. If you didn't know, we have plenty new merch designs available. Ian just created a Pop and Large design. But Ian, it's not just OTM, right? We have main event merch as well.
Yeah, we do. And that Pop and Large design is also available in the main event theme and color scheme. So if you're wanting one of those as well and represent the Main Event Wrestling Network, you could do that. If you have not seen the design, kind of sad because that kind of hurts my soul, and that's probably why I got sick, is because not a lot of shirts were bought, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's
not
why
he's
sick,
out.
Guys. We got no sales on the Pop and Large, so that's why he's been out of action. So if you buy a Pop and Large t-shirt, maybe he'll be the full-timer and not just the full-time part-timer.
That's why my cholesterol's so high, because nobody's buying our merch either. So it happens. What's up?
Yeah, buy their merch too. Buy everyone's merch. That's a part of the network. That's a way to support us and keep the lights on over here. But to confirm, Great Brown Hope did get a Pop and Large OTM shirt, and it should be arriving any day now. So we do got a sale.
Oh,
okay.
Ooh, I'm feeling a little bit better, actually.
Yeah, there you go. So I think we could talk wrestling now. We kind of just chit-chatted there for about 14 minutes. We're going to start in like chronological order here. So we're going to go all the way back to last Saturday. And this seems like forever ago, but Stephanie Valkyrie became the first, South American to win a title, I believe, in the WWE. She captured that North American title by defeating Fallon Henley to start off things for Vengeance Day, which, by the way, if you guys did not get the chance to see Vengeance Day, I thought it was a very strong show from top to bottom. But Ian, this is a thing that we probably all assumed was going to happen, that Stephanie eventually was going to capture gold here. But I know you didn't get to catch all of Vengeance Day, but were you able to see this one here?
Yeah, this one, so actually this Saturday, that was Saturday evening, so I was kind of in and out through sleep, but I did catch a little bit. I saw this match just a little bit. Great match. It was good. Nothing blowing me away. I mainly was there for the Ethan Page match with, I apologize, I forget his name.
Javon Evans.
Javon Evans is going to be absolutely incredible. I am excited for that man to get a little beefier and get better in the ring, but that dude's incredible. But I'm sure we'll talk about it. But anyway, Stephanie Valkyrie match, winning the title. It's a good start for her. I want to propose a question for you guys. You guys are more NXT guys than me, as I'm kind of notoriously for not a big NXT guy, but that's okay. For talent like Fallon Henley and all these acquisitions of the new talent coming from different countries, different companies coming into NXT, obviously it's going through a new kind of regime in the NXT women's division. For talent like Fallon Henley, is this a bad thing? Do you see them kind of getting left in the dust? And again, I don't want to make it negative, but I just want to get feelers out there.
JGold, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, when I was talking to Tino last week, I named these four: Stephanie Vacker, Julia, Delta, and I keep forgetting her name. What they changed her name to? The Australian from Zarya, and Jordan Grace. Now, those four are Shawn Michaels' like heartbreak, four horsemen of the apocalypse right there. They are going to be your main events in the women's division in NXT. Those four. It doesn't. I like Fallon Henley. I think JC Jane deserves a spot on the main roster.
Yes.
She had the one thread that kept like those threesomes together. JC Jane, she's great. But I don't think you're in the talent sphere yet with Fallon Henley, when it was Thea Hale and a bunch of these other women. I just don't think they're in that sphere. And I do think they're going to take some lumps for a while, and they're going to need to lose for a few years. I mean, I know it sounds nuts, but they're going to have to lose so that those four are the ones that are getting over, because they're the ones that you can tell Shawn Michaels loves those four women. He was dying to get Jordan Grace into NXT. And now that he has all four of them, they are with Sol Ruca and I keep forgetting her name. Zarya. With Sol Ruca and Zarya as a tag team, they're going to win a tag belt somewhere along the line.
Sure.
And then all four of those women are going to hold belts. So I do think you're right. It is probably them going to lose for a while and learning, and then one day they'll be that's the next level.
Yeah, like there's obviously a difference between a Fallon Henley and a Stephanie Vaquer. There's an aura to these superstars, kind of like JGold was alluding to. They're megastars. Fallon Henley is very, very good. She's a great professional wrestler, but like you guys said, she's gonna, stack up a couple losses for the time being, it seems, and then I mean, she could still be a good hand. Now, listen, not everybody is going to be a main event player. Not everybody is going to hold championships, and I think that's okay. I think Fallon Henley knows her role in the company, and I don't think they're going to get lost by any means. They're just going to be positioned differently, if that makes any sense.
She's a student. Let's not forget, they're all students. Anybody who's not somebody that they brought in from the outside is being turned into some sort of talent for the WWE machine. So if they're not brought in, they're going to have to learn for a while. And there's nothing wrong with them, like Fallon Henley, like Tatum Paxley, like all of them. They'll make appearances on TNA. They'll go on Level Up, but they're not going to be the ones who dethrone Julia and Stephanie Vaquer yet.
Yeah, kind of similar to Cora Jade too, like kind of saying.
Yeah, and I brought that up. It wasn't like it's not a red warning like flashing on the screen like, oh shit, we need to be paying attention to it. It's more just kind of a question, because I started noticing too, just the main roster, it's kind of getting to a place where it's kind of getting stagnant with the storytelling with women's division, which is no fault of the talent. The talent is absolutely incredible. Obviously, this is the most stacked WWE's been in, I mean, you tell me, since the Attitude Era.
Maybe.
Yeah, ever, especially the women's division, ever. And it's just kind of, it's a little alarming to me that we're this stacked in the women's division and the main roster is kind of lacking in that storytelling, which I think they're getting there. You have girls like Ivy Niles that is getting some screen time now and kind of the front man of the Alpha team, American Made. Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's just questions that I have popping up in my head, especially when I was watching Raw.
That's Triple H's blind spot, though. That's his blind spot. Yeah. He cannot book the women the right. You think it's going in the right direction, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. Shawn Michaels makes it women heavy. NXT is women heavy.
Well, look at this week's NXT. Yeah. It was literally just filled with women's matches, and they were great matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they put on good stuff, and I just don't think. Even though with 3 hours on SmackDown, you still don't get enough women. So
no,
I don't know.
You do not. It seems like they're kind of focusing more on the tag division or revitalizing the tag division on SmackDown.
Which they need it.
But a lot of filler, too, which we can have that conversation at another time. Bill Moss says, I wouldn't mind seeing Fallon Henley as an NXT mainstay for the next several years as the person that helps develop talent on the show, kind of like Ciampa did, and he was in NXT for 7 years. Yeah, I think that's a good point there from Bill. Robbie says, coming off of what Ian said, would the women's roster benefit from an Evolution pay-per-view? I think yes, guys.
I'm going to say no, only because we know they could wrestle. Like, putting them on a pay-per-view is absolutely awesome. We would love it, but we know they could wrestle. It's more that's not the issue. It's the TV time and developing that character and developing the stories. If they gave them time to come up to that pay-per-view and kind of put people on notice on, hey, yeah, we could do this pretty well. We could put together some meaningful stories. Then yes, absolutely. But if they're just like the first time they did the Evolution pay-per-view, they just kind of, here it is. Here's the pay-per-view. Not a lot of stories going into it, but I think it was like the main event with Becky Lynch. That was about all they had.
Ronda Rousey, I'm pretty sure, was the main event.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you could bring for a women's revolution. Don't call it revolution. We don't need to make it like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, we're giving you a pay-per-view. Look how lucky you are. If they give it a great name and take the feuds that are on television currently, I'm taking this one from Raw. I'm taking this one from SmackDown. I'm taking these two from NXT. I'm giving you 5 to 7 super matches for women, and I'm putting it on a pay-per-view, and we're calling it whatever the hell we want. And I'm not bringing attention to the fact that it's just women. Here's our pay-per-view. Here it is. You're going to have 7 great matches coming. They're going to be all women, but they deserve this, so it's all women. So whatever. But they're great wrestlers. We're going to give you Julia. We're going to give you Becky Lynch, let's say. We're going to give you Rhea. And everyone is going to – you will buy tickets to that show. And if you don't call it Revolution and you just book – that's the thing. WWE has all this time now. You have all these – look at how much space they have. Like, people are like, oh, you want to do a Saturday night's main event? Here you go. Oh, you want to do something on Netflix? Here's unlimited time. You can – it doesn't matter when you go off the air. Like, they could just do things, and so go do it. Like, name it. I know it's just so – it's never – Triple H just never gets – it's that blind spot that he's not going to book it right. Maybe you let Shawn Michaels – maybe you bring back Finley or you know, TJ, what's his name, and you have them book the women's matches, and then there you go. You got a pay-per-view that people are going to want to watch. You're going to sell tickets. Do it again in Nassau Coliseum like they did here, like they did at the first one. It's only got like 11,000 seats, so you don't have to feel like you're trying to fill a 20,000 person arena. Yeah. Do something. See where the tickets go, but don't call it don't call it Revolution. I feel like you're pitying them when you do that. Just give them a pay-per-view and let it run. Yeah.
Great point.
No. Yeah, well said. But going back to this match, man, when I see Stephanie Valkyrie, I honestly think she could be one of, if not the biggest women's talent in the WWE in a couple years. Like, it has no flaws whatsoever. It's incredible watching her wrestle. And seeing her with this title, though, might seem a little less for her because she seems like she could hold a world title in NXT. But I still think that is something they could get to. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the match at Stand and Deliver for WrestleMania weekend is Stephanie versus Julia versus Jordynne Grace. That's going to put butts in seats in itself.
Yeah, that's it. That's the match. And you know, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but remember seeing her at Forbidden Door against Mercedes.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everyone's like, that match was awesome. And then you heard the whispers. You went, that match was awesome. But Stephanie Valkyrie is a star. Like, everyone's like, it's not Mercedes. It's the girl next to her. She's a star. And I couldn't keep my eyes off her when I was watching her in that match. And everyone in the arena was like, holy crap. Like, look at this woman cook. And so, you know, she is definitely a star, a mega star, and she is going to hold multiple belts because no one does what she does. Not even Julia. I'm not even that compelled. No offense to Julia. I think she's losing a ton of momentum. Yep. Nobody is doing what Stephanie Valkyrie does when she comes out with the horns and the presentation. Holy crap. Like, they have something special. So
yeah, and Booker T can't contain himself every time she hits that one move where she's just driving the women into the mat. Man, a lot of people dislike Booker T on commentary. I like him because I think he just acts like just a regular guy. Ian, I know you hate Booker T.
I hate Booker T. Love him, but I hate him on commentary. Love Booker T. Absolutely love the guy. But yeah, no, I think it was like the voting. which is the meaningless voting that you get at the end of the year. Booker T was leading the charts in the most hated commentator by a landslide, and I was like, okay, at least I'm not alone. I'll take it. Love Booker T.
I was gonna say I can't even think of like my least favorite wrestling commentator. I don't think anybody's terrible.
I have a few, but I won't.
Yeah, you don't have to put them on blast. But once again, we got a lot to talk about here tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll pin a couple of these conversations
for the listening audience. If you ever want to know who it is, go on to the Indie Wrestling Guide. You'll listen. I've said it a million times, so it's all good.
Man, find someone that loves you as much as Great Brown Hope hates Pat McAfee, because he will let you know that he hates Pat Great Brown Hope might be the biggest hater I know. I don't know why he just decides to hate on everything, but hey, well, to each their own. But Tim Vicious says, show of hands, who loves when Steph does that move? I think everybody does. Kind says Booker T is the second best commentator. Guys, we got a lot to talk about, so unfortunately, I cannot pull up every single comment here, and I'm with you, Bill Moss. I love Pat McAfee. Let's move on to another match that happened at Vengeance Day, and this one was another banger, because that's all Fraxium does, is put on excellent tag team matches. I had a hunch that maybe we could see an upset here from Josh Briggs and Inamura, but that's not what we got. But instead, we just got a really good back and forth match here between these two teams. JGold, how did you feel about this tag match?
It's Fraxium makes. I've been reading all these articles. I can't believe how high people with the pedestal they put Fraxium on, just because it came out of nowhere. Like, I don't think I've really given them their credit, but no offense to Briggs and Inamura. Fraxium, they threw them on their backs and they were like, we're going up this hill together, guys. We are carrying this. Like, holy moly, those guys. Does anybody remember A-Kid from like the indies and everything? Like, A-Kid, when he was A-Kid, was unbelievable. And the fact that he is this over now with the mask, and WWE doesn't always put too many guys over with the mask. Like, they have their guys, but they're like, all right, it's amazing. Nathan Frazier, another indie guy, wasn't a WWE performance guy.
Ben Carter, right?
Yeah, Ben Carter, and he came in and just tore it up. And they are something WWE needs to hold on to. And I don't think they are main roster ready yet. They are small, so you don't want another match like DIY and the Machine Guns. You got to give them a little bit more time to breathe. But when they do get there, they're gonna tear the house down. So they get the 10s, but Briggs and Murray, okay, thanks guys.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Ian, how'd you feel about this one?
Yeah, it was a fantastic match, which is, to be expected with Fraxium. I actually differ. I wanted to give a shout out to Briggs and Inamura. I had no idea who those people were before the match. They made sure to remember, they were fantastic. They played their part extremely well, and they looked the part. I knew a little bit about Josh Briggs, but I had no idea who Inamura was. Inamura looked fantastic and looked like a beast. So, also, he reminded me, or the tag team reminded me of JGold. You might be able to help, and Kyle, you'll actually be able to help as well. I forget their name all the time. They're in independent wrestling. They're always with GCW. Kyle, we've seen them many, many, many times with Warrior Wrestling as well.
Are you talking about Dom and Koo?
Are you talking about Violence is Forever? Really?
Yes.
There you go.
They reminded me of Violence is Forever, and they reminded me, why the fuck are they not signed? Because they would be, if you would have placed them as the Fraxium's opponent here in this match, it would have been absolutely incredible.
That is a good question, JGold. How is Violence of Forever not signed to a big promotion?
They're probably making money.
Dom has beaten me up at a few wrestling shows. I love that dude. Dom was very big in Evolve when Evolve Wrestling was really taking off, and Evolve is coming back on Tubi, as you saw that commercial on WWE. So they're going to start. Yep. But Dom and Koo, for some reason, they are the top tag team indie act. There's nobody better than them right now. They travel all over the world. I just think, they have their, WWE has its thoughts and their detractors. AEW's had them on once or twice when they did AEW Dark, but that's right. I don't know the answer as to why they're not signed, and everybody asks the same question. So, I'm with you. Fantastic. Yeah, they just know they're you put them in a ring with anybody and they just do things. So
it's kind of a blessing for us that like to go to indie shows though, because we still get to see them perform for about $20. So hey, that's a W for wrestling fans. Yes. But it also would be a W if they did get picked up by a major company. Yep. But I'm sure that is on the horizon for that tag team. But speaking of tag teams, they are building, it seems, to the Hardys versus Fraxium, potentially at a show in the near future, because we just found out on NXT this week that the Hardys are going to be coming to NXT on Tuesday for a matchup against the No Quarter Catch Crew. Ian, I know you know the Hardys. It's pretty crazy that we are going to be seeing them on NXT, and they're under a completely different umbrella in TNA.
Yeah, it's shocking. I'm going to be honest. I'm not like moved by it. I don't know if that, and it's not me being a hater on them. It's just like, all right, cool. Like most
Hardys
of the
Fraxium match doesn't do anything for you?
No. I think the Hardys have gotten to that point in my mind, at least, which I don't know. It could just be that whole TNA bubble. I don't watch TNA. It's kind of hard for me to watch TNA. I'm not going to spend the extra money for it. So it's kind of hard to get over there and watch them do their thing. I'm sure they're doing a fantastic job over there, especially for their age. But yeah, I'm not moved by it. Again, I could be in the 2% right now. But
no, you hit it. You hit it.
I was
totally.
going to say, I'm sure JGold's going to agree with you, actually.
No, you hit it. First of all, bravo WWE. You get the Hardys to come on your television. You don't have to pay them. They're getting paid by somebody else. But you're right. If this was 15 years ago, I know Tino's the only one who's probably losing his mind when they popped up on NXT when their little screen. But if you gave this to me 15 years ago, we're cooking. Now I'm like, oh boy, like to see Matt Hardy waddle down and like Jeff kind of throw his body around. It doesn't feel the same. It's just kind of, it's going to give the fans vibes. All the fans are going to tune in, but
there's
for us,
still value in it. Like there's value in the Hardys
absolutely
coming over and elevating that tag division. Because let's be real, and I've talked about it on this podcast, the NXT tag division is not good. You have Fraxium, and that's it. It really is. Those other teams aren't credible enough. Sure, the No Quarter Catch Crew is gaining steam, and that's exactly why you bring the Hardys in now, because I think the No Quarter Catch Crew is that next team to potentially take those titles off Fraxium. Because if it isn't them, JGold and Ian, who else is it going to be?
they love those guys. They love Charlie Dempsey. They just love those guys. At Tavon Heights, they love them. It's NXT.
Tavon
Heights is fun.
I love
he's
that guy.
he's the real deal. Yeah, he's got to change up his gear, but he's the real deal. That stupid one leg is just. Didn't you learn your lesson when you watched Zack Ryder back in the day? Like, no. Take that off. That looks ridiculous. But yeah, I think they are the next guys, and they probably will take it off. But it's a matter of them kind of getting credibility. And then they'll do the Hardys first.
True that. And of course, the Gallus boys in the chat with the Great Brown Hope, Robbie and Bill Moss want to bring up Gallus in this occasion. I don't know where Gallus is. Maybe they're headed to the main roster soon. I guess we'll find out. But we're about 30 minutes in, and we haven't even got through Vengeance Day. So let's move quick here. We're going to skip a match and go to Eddie Thorpe, who got a big upset win that I didn't see coming over Trick Williams, because I assumed we were going to get Trick Williams versus Obafemi at Stand and Deliver. This seems like a hiccup in the road for Trick Williams. Ian, you might not have seen this match, but this is a big moment for Eddie Thorpe, who is a guy that I have been very critical of as of late.
Yeah, it's a shocker to see. I was asleep during this match, and again, that sounds like an insult, but I was in and out of consciousness. Yeah, so I didn't realize Eddie Thorpe is not the Eddie Thorpe I remember anymore. So that was interesting to see.
He's not a DJ.
No, he is not. Completely has changed his look and his character, which cool, awesome. I'm glad they are doing that and making strides for that. What this means for either of these guys, not sure. Eddie Thorpe, I'd imagine there's a title shot in his near sights, so awesome to see. Trick Williams, I'm not sure what this means. Maybe this could lead to some character development. Not as happy-go-lucky as Trick. I wouldn't hate to see it.
I definitely think we need to see a different side to Trick Williams, JGold. I think you would agree with that as well.
I only got one word for that match. Why? No, Eddie Thorpe, no. You're not getting over. Nope, I'm not buying a shirt. No. My kid is like, who the heck is that guy? And she was like, she even said to me, she was like, what Native American tribe is he? And so we actually looked it up. Like, he definitely is part of a tribe and everything. No, it's just no. There's nothing that comes off him that's just like, yeah, man, you're going places. He's just like a mid-sized, like guy. He's wearing his tassels. He's doing whatever. Like, No. There's so many other guys on that roster that I'm like, here we are, and Eddie Thorpe just kind of pushes his way in. So whatever.
I totally agree with you, and I don't need to spend any more time on it. These people don't want to hear me bitch about Eddie Thorpe for the rest of my life. So let's move on and talk about the two big title matches where Oba Femi successfully retained, and so did Julia. Obviously, Oba was in a match with A-Town Down Under, which was very fun. It was kind of a showcase match of sorts for Oba Femi, which that guy really can't have a bad match with anyone. It does seem, though, like A-Town Down Under is eventually going to be splitting here soon. Ian, you didn't get the chance to talk about it last week with us, but would you agree that it is time to split up A-Town Down Under?
Yeah, because I think they're finally starting to strike gold. They're starting to get people to cheer for Austin Theory, which is insane. That's the main roster and NXT. They're starting to see the vision a little bit. The fans are in the crowd. And I think Austin Theory is starting to peek through with that baby face that, the man who shall not be named was trying to look for from the beginning and had to evacuate ship.
Do you remember the egg? That storyline with Austin Theory trying to find the egg? They were like promoting a movie or something.
Yeah, it was a relic from a movie. You don't remember that? When
no, there's probably a good reason.
That's in his old hands. You don't remember he's in the old hands and he's holding the golden egg and he's like showing it to all the stars. He's like, and then he loses it. And
that's why Austin Theory's push died right there.
It feels like a fever dream because I feel like I see visions of it, but my mind's like, don't stop it.
So, actually, this comment, I do want to touch on this, and granted, we're going to go over on time, so I hope you guys are ready for a long one tonight. Moose versus Oba does seem to be on the horizon. If you didn't watch NXT this week, Moose showed up, confronted Oba Femi after he retained that title at Vengeance Day, and a lot of people seem to be up in arms about it. Ian, I'm a little confused. Why do you hate Moose? Like, should we be pissed? I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I love that man. Moose is a beast, and he's deserved a lot of shine for a long time, and TNA has held him back, but he's a loyal guy and is stuck to that company because they treated him well. I know there are outside influences on why people hate Moose.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes
about these outside influences.
The problem with Moose was he went for a WWE tryout. They were going to sign him, and then he was arrested for domestic abuse. This was many years ago. I'm sorry. He was arrested for domestic abuse when he was playing in the NFL. When he went to go sign with WWE, they found out, and then they passed on.
Got it.
So he has not gotten a pass from the wrestling fans for years. It's years.
I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
To go even deeper, because saying that on surface level, I'm a big advocate on there's more to the story, and let's not cancel somebody for it. Again, we could completely skip this part, but like Moose at the time was trying to get out of the NFL, and the victim, I should say, did not want him to leave because the money was there. He wanted to take a shot in WWE. Things went downhill, and Moose was not happy at the time, and there was domestic abuse on either side. Moose is the one that got caught doing it, yada, yada. That's how that all played out. So there were bad people on both sides. Moose is very much in the wrong as well, but there was also another side to the story. So, and people like to forget that.
Sense.
It's been out there for very long. Like you could just look it up and see. You can even look it up on Twitter. That's why people are so angry.
Okay.
And so like there's so much, just anger and negativity about him, but
negativity galore right now.
it is. Yeah, it's but
bad.
that's what it is. It just hasn't been, they haven't given him a pass on that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now that makes a lot more sense for sure. Robbie said, remember seeing Moose put on a banger with Nick Nemeth in TNA. Yeah, Moose puts on good matches, and I think him versus Oba is going to be great. Does it mean that Moose is going to become the NXT champion? I doubt it, but it's still more compelling than doing Eddie Thorpe versus Oba Femi. That's for damn sure. But we talked enough about Oba and that situation. Julia retained in what was another great match on Vengeance Day. She had to go against Cora Jade. She had to go against why am I blinking? Roxanne Perez and Bayley, which was cool to see Bayley back as well. But you know what, JGold? I kind of agree with you, man. I was originally excited for Julia in NXT. But I don't know if it's just the influx of other talent like a Jordan Grace and a Zarya and a Stephanie that overshine her. But I need a little bit more out of.
There's a
Julia.
misconnection somewhere, and I think it's either that in Japan, the fans like the indie fans who love her in Japan liked a style that is not a style you are going to see here ever. So the Julia you want is not going to ever be the Julia you're going to get. That Julia is going to stay in Japan. You're not going to see the one who is taking full punches to the face. She's not going to knee, Roxanne Perez in the jaw and, blood's going to spew. Like, none of those strong style Julia is going to happen, unfortunately. And when you bring somebody who's kind of limited verbally and cannot show off what made her as popular as it made her in Japan, you're going to get a disconnect. So right now we're at a place where, yes, she is beautiful. She can wrestle. She can't connect with the audience, and she can't show off a lot of what she used to do. So if you had 3 of 4 instead of 2 of 4, you're going to get a connection. We're missing something. She's got to find something. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she has to find something.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. And I like what Robbie is saying, too. It was a really good Fatal 4-Way, but we didn't see enough from Julia. And I agree with him. She kind of feels like an afterthought, and she is the women's champion. Ian, I know you don't watch NXT as much as we do, but do you get that similar vibe as well, or were you just enjoying this one for what it was?
Again, asleep for this match, and I did not watch it back, so
Fair enough.
I could not give you any input. But I will say, yeah, it as you were saying, JGold, it's very tough, especially with all these new acquisitions in NXT. Even Vacure might have to go through it a little bit, it will have to go through it. It's that language barrier is tough. Like, to connect with the U.S. audience is very, very tough. We've seen that
very
many
fickle audience.
Yeah, we've seen it many times in WWE. There are outliers that work tremendously. Hence, Asuka. Asuka worked because that's basically a silent killer and dominating, and that's why she worked. You can't have that now in the NXT Women's Division because all of them are very, very, very good. Unless your name is Obafemi in the Men's Division, can't really do that. So it's kind of tough to do that. But yeah, I see what you're saying, JGold.
But they also killed her. The first time you introduce her, she's super famous. Everybody was going nuts. And then you have her lose the first match for the title. Don't put her in that position, right? Like,
I was there, yeah.
There was no reason for her to even be in that match. Give her something else, like they did with Nakamura when they brought him in NXT. He went against Sami Zayn, showed off everything he had. The place went nuts, and he got over. She went up against Roxanne Perez and lost. Like, you spent all this money on Julia. You know that they went out and spent all this money on her. They wanted her. She wanted to come here. She was waiting to leave Japan for months. She was supposed to help with Marigold and blah, blah, blah. And here I come. And then you lose. Stephanie Vacquer hasn't lost yet. And that's why people are like, this girl can go. And she speaks much better English. And, we joke about it. We're like, oh, Vince, you racist piece of shit and all this stuff. You know what? He had a point, though. If you're not connecting verbally, WWE doesn't do strong style matches. You're not getting over on what your moveset is. You got to get over on the mic. Yep. So it sucks, but it's true for her. And I feel bad because I love her. I think she's great, but you got to give us more. You're right.
Yeah.
And listen, guys, it might sound like we are being harsh. We're not. These are just critiques. We want what's best for professional wrestling and for these talents like a Julia, who is an insanely talented superstar. But overall, this Vengeance Day card, like I said, I really enjoyed it from top to bottom. It didn't have any bad matches for me. If I were to give it a letter grade, I'd probably give it a B+. I thought it was like an 89, a very strong show. JGold, what letter grade would you give Vengeance Day?
I'm on with you, B+. Just give me something real quick. Who those 4 dudes again? Who are those guys who keep beating everybody up?
I was going to say we're not going to bring it.
EID talents. Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think
it's the Shield.
One of them
is it Cappuccino Jones? Because that's one of the ID talents.
Oh, is
Cappuccino Jones is the guy's name. Yes, they gave a guy like that a contract. Yes.
They can't give Cheeseburger a contract?
I was literally about to say I hope it's Cheeseburger because that'd be amazing.
Can you imagine a cappuccino versus cheeseburger match?
He's already doing coffee puns. I can't stand him. I'm like, why does everybody keep running on this dude? But he's there. Like, I don't know who it is, but you're right. I'm trying to figure out who those 4 guys are because they didn't even give it to us on Tuesday. So
is one of the guys.
They need to introduce themselves. I can't do with the Retribution Shield-esque type thing all over again.
the difference between them and the Shield was like people knew who the Shield members were. They didn't need an introduction. They just showed up on the main roster and was like, oh, fuck yeah. You can't do that when you're just like, okay. The crowd literally chanted, "Who are you?"
Well,
that's not good.
I like what Robbie's saying, though. It is nice that they are giving four guys a chance right out of the gate, and they're going to be put on under a microscope right away. So
it's tough.
If you don't succeed, you're getting put in the best spot imaginable. So, and I think we should be, more patient with this group, obviously, because we don't know much about them.
Yeah.
And like Bill said, it is kind of like a combination of Sanity, Shield, Retribution. I don't know, man. I guess wait and see with that one.
Don't bring Retribution into this.
Sanity I liked a lot, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
I think we all like Sanity. They're a very solid group. But let's move on over to AEW because they also had a really good, strong show this past Saturday. It happened after all the All-Star Game activities, so it was weird. I was on a different timeline than the rest of my timeline on X. I didn't know what was going on. Regardless, AEW Grand Slam kicked off with a match that easily was put on my match of the year list, as we had that tag team match with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay versus Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Ian, I know you love some AEW, and you loved this tag match, didn't you?
Loved it. Yeah, everybody knows I'm an AEW lifer. I hate WWE. I don't even watch that product. It's crap. No, JGold, if you don't know, that's kind of the running joke. Comedy.
Yeah.
But no, this tag match was awesome. It was they delivered on what, again, it's like a Kenny match. It's I mean, all four of these guys, you could say it's one of those kinds of matches, and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm getting. And I think it's kind of like the pinnacle of AEW style wrestling, which it's awesome for a reason because it's action packed. There's not a lot of misses. Full force for about 20 minutes, and they delivered. The storytelling going into it was okay. I liked it. Now we're having a reunion of Kenny and Will Ospreay very quick, which was kind of my biggest pet peeve. I wish they would have drawn that out a little bit longer, but I like what they're doing because now you could take this tag team, either split them and have a feud through that, lead that into All In. Awesome. Perfect. Not going to complain about it. Or you could take that to the Death Riders and use it there. And then you have what they were wanting from the beginning. It's the Death Riders versus everybody. It was fun. I'm kind of worried about the Kyle Fletcher push. Just a wee bit, just a little bit. He's been on the losing side. Now you have Mark Davis, who looks like an absolute beast with his new look and new style, I would say. But yeah, it was fantastic. I hope Konosuke is the front runner for the Don Callis family for a long time. That's all I got.
JGold, what did you think about this one?
The match is great. I had no issues with it. I liked the Discord on Twitter all day leading up to it, talking about a tiny ring the whole day.
Why was it such a big deal?
I don't know. I was watching. I'm like, this is so funny. And people are fighting each other over a ring. And the only thing I thought was, yes, it's the best.
Look at our comment section. I mean, they're talking about it.
But like the outside of the ring was very big, right? Like that was the only thing. Like that whole. I guess they were thinking they were going to get a lot of dives, but the Discord all day was so funny, and there was some dude putting up pictures and like highlighting. If I zoom out and I show you the lines, this is an 18, this is a 16, this is a 20. Goddamn all of you. And the guy's cursing everybody out. It was the best part of the whole show. But the match, it was great. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed Ospreay's intro until, I watched it over and over again.
Fire.
And I was a part of it at Forbidden Door. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. But yeah, the Callis family is awesome. And these four should be your tent poles forever. Like you want to sell merch, you want to sell tickets, put these four on every card. You got it. Like that's how, and they did 500,000 viewers at 10:30 on a Saturday night. Like you can't, and they got over 1 million viewers supposedly for that match alone. So,
but NXT probably got over 1 million. So AEW's trash, right?
You don't want to start. You don't want to bring that flame here. We don't need everybody. They'll come after you.
I got a comment for that comment. I got a comment for that comment here. The chat's got us covered on every angle, guys. Don't worry.
It was just, it's perfect. It was just funny to see just how, people, they were waiting for that one. Like that was, and the crowd made it so good. So
that crowd was amazing.
Yep.
Did you guys see them being tag team champions like Bill Moss is saying?
No, I'm going to say no, mainly because the Hurt Syndicate I think they're on the right track with the tag team division. Yes, I completely agree. That tag team division sucked. The Young Bucks, I thought they did a great job with what they had. They kind of had to stay off a little bit because tag teams are splitting. Lucha Bros, that fell through. That was a whole situation. And I think that was, again, that was like a year and a half ago, and I still believe that was kind of the purpose of Young Bucks winning that title, was more Young Bucks and Lucha Bros, but that diverted, and they weren't ready for it. But I think we're back on the right track. Hurt Syndicate, keep the titles on those guys. I think Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, they have, not a diss on the tag team, but they have bigger fish to fry.
Oh, I agree. No more super teams. No more super tag teams. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Give me guys. What happened to the problem is what happened to guys like Private Party after it now. Like the problem with their divisions, there's no follow up. I don't like them anyway. They're House of Glory guys from here. I don't understand. Guys lose the title and then they peel them off and then you don't have anything, so you can't keep building the division. So I don't really know where they're going. Hurt Syndicate is the best. Like I love Shelton Benjamin every day. He's just the man. But yeah, I don't want to see Ospreay and Kenny as a tag. Kenny's a singles wrestler. Give him back to Moxley. Let him take the title off, and let's go again. So
they're on the road to the biggest show. Like All In is on the horizon, similar to WWE building to WrestleMania right now. That's where all this is leading to. So I agree. I mean, it was the great tag team match, especially for happening in Australia. You want to give them some good, fun matches, but after that, let's go their separate ways. Let's get them back in the main event.
I just want to shout out, again, I usually am a busted open lover, but it was really funny seeing Dave LaGreca absolutely get roasted because he went on a rant about Kyle Fletcher. He was going to be the good guy over in Australia, and he got booed within the first 10 seconds and booed out of the building. So I thought
wrestling fans understand. Jesus, stop making not every wrestling fan is a mouth breathing, neckbeard. Like they're like us. Like I understand what I'm watching. I don't have to cheer Max every time he comes to Long Island. Like that's for my kid to do. Like he comes out, I'm like, and then my kid's like, yes, he's from Plainview, blah blah. Like I don't get. Like we understand that most people understand he's the bad guy. Like I don't know why they have to do that, but.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying for sure. But other things that happened at Grand Slam, a lot of people were hoping to potentially see Harley Cameron get a win over Mercedes Moné, but she still had a really solid showing in her match against Mercedes. I agree with the decision to have her not win just yet, because I think you're going to just create more support behind Harley going forward. And this is something that's going to make Harley, because, as much as people hate on Mercedes, when you're in the ring with her, it's only going to make you look better. And I thought Harley looked really good. This was my favorite match of hers, and I think she's got a bright future still, Ian.
Yeah, she found her character, which in AEW, once you do that, hence Ricochet, once you find your character that's connecting with the fans, and obviously, I'm pretty sure, I would say about 95% of the AEW wrestlers are very good at wrestling, unless you're kind of younger. But yeah, Harley Cameron is absolutely charismatic. The puppet is hilarious. And yeah,
Tim's idea. He said a YouTube puppet show starring Minnie Monet.
She got over with a puppet. Like, she did way better than Bray Wyatt did with his puppets. Like, she got over with a puppet. Like, and people were just like, they lost their minds over a puppet. So, but I didn't think she was going to win. I don't think anybody's taken anything off of Mercedes for a while. So,
who will take that title off of Mercedes? Because I thought it was going to be Camille, but I don't even know where Camille's at.
She was filming a movie. She got written off for injury.
Oh, but, okay. Is she a gladiator in the movie?
No, what's the wrestling movie or the TV show? Not a movie. Is it Heels? Heels.
No. Oh, she is doing Heels?
I think so. I think she's
I
a
thought
new
there was
character.
a wrestling movie coming out, but that's cool that
there is. Did I tell you guys about that? Did you hear me tell Tino?
I heard about it.
Did you hear me talk about the wrestling movie that I'm going to be in?
Oh, wait, you're going to be in a movie?
Yes. No,
we're talking to a celebrity here.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
All right. No. Okay. So on Twitter, like 3 months ago, there was a Twitter thing that went out that said, we are looking for Steven Spielberg is filming a movie in Huntington, Long Island. He is looking for wrestling fans. Now, my wife is in TV. She works for NBC. So she was like, let me help you put together headshots. They wanted headshots, blah, blah, blah. They're like, we need wrestling fans to be in this movie. So I send in all this crap, me in front of the rings with my kid. I send this whole story. I'm like, they're never going to choose me. I'd throw it away. Like 3 weeks ago, I get an email from the casting company that they chose me, and that on Tuesday, March 4th, I am going to be an extra in as a wrestling fan in a Steven Spielberg movie.
I was about to say, in a Spielberg movie.
That's correct.
Insane.
Wait, now here's the kicker. Okay? I'm going to read to you exactly what it says just so you know, because I look at it every day and I howl. Okay, so it says,
this is fantastic.
Oh, it's great. Wait a minute. Here we go. It says, okay, so thank you for your email, blah, blah, blah. Okay, please note, you will be asked to portray a politically conservative MAGA wrestling fan and will be given a red hat, American flag clothing, and props.
Wait, is Hulk Hogan in the movie? Are you going to meet Hulk Hogan?
So I was saying to people, and we said this on my show, I said, I am going to, maybe I will be so good that Steven Spielberg sees me in the crowd and goes, we want that guy's backstory explored more. Let's write more into it. So I am going in 2 weeks from Tuesday to be a week from Tuesday to be a wrestling fan in, I've heard rumors it's a UFO movie. Like, I don't know, but supposedly I'm going to be in front of the ring and we're supposed to be cheering and blah, blah, and there's strobe lights and all sorts of shit.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. So you guys will see all the updates in the next week or two, but when you bring up a wrestling movie, Camille, maybe she's in it.
You know what? You were supposed to tell me this beforehand because I would have said with movie star JGold. There's a difference now. You're going to be in a Spielberg film. That's fucking insane.
Yeah. I'll make you a bet I get cut, but still I get to go eat the crafts and I get to go do whatever.
All I could find with the Spielberg movie is a mysterious new event movie. It's a UFO movie. No wrestling at all. I have no idea.
They're filming part of it in Cape May, New Jersey, and they're filming the other part of it here in Huntington. I don't know what the point of it is. Maybe they're going to have the aliens like zap us or whatever.
You're going to go into a multiverse with wrestling or something. And you're just like in a thought bubble somewhere. That's what's going on. I can't wait to see that. I appreciate you sharing that information with us.
I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, is my credit going to be like, racist wrestling fan #1? I'm like, I should start selling those T-shirts on our website.
You know, if you do it too well, Trump might bring you onto his staff. So just be careful there, buddy.
Everybody who knows me, they're like, what the hell, dude? I'm like, my wife goes, oh, it's your dream to be a wrestling fan. And yet, look at the tag on it. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever you want me to do, I'm going to be a wrestling fan. So
mega pop out of this comment. Tim said, if you were in a movie, you got bragging rights to say that you had more screen time than Seth Rollins did in Captain America.
Let's go. That your boy right in the front row. Let's see how
Tim
good I can
Tim from the top drops the elbow on Seth freaking Rollins.
Tough.
Yeah, AEW Grand Slam did happen. I don't have anything else of note from it. Ian, kind of wanted to just give you the
talk about the main event.
I'm forgetting about the main event
Tony.
already, brother.
Yeah, Tony Storm won the title.
Timeless Tony regained her strap. She's the first ever 4-time AEW Women's Champion in a spectacular match with Mariah May. This is one story that AEW has nailed to a T. This has been perfectly executed from start to finish. Her getting that moment in Australia, JGold, that felt like the right decision right there. Even though I have been critical about Mariah May's reign, I don't think it's been her fault, but putting it on Tony seemed like the right call in that spot.
You can't not. She's undeniable. She has saved the women's wrestling division in AEW more than Mercedes, more than Mariah's awesome. But you know what? Mariah was the bit player. The fact that they focused more on Tony pretending like she didn't know who she was, and then they focused on So, but it wasn't, the focus wasn't on Mariah. That's the problem. So you had Mariah not kind of being the B player on that one, and Tony leading up to her crazy, expose where she was just playing a role. The fans lost their minds, and you can't take that visual away. It was awesome.
Also, I love the match. I think it did very well. Obviously, love the decision. Toni Storm as the champion. When we were saying before, when she had her year-long run on saying, yeah, she's nailed her character. I watched Dynamite just before the show from last night. Her promo was amazing. Fantastic. She has literally, like her character would say, she has the audience like in her hands, which is the perfect performer. It's fantastic. Like we were saying before, she's nailed her character. She's done it 200 times more. Like that character, she should be sticking with that for the rest of her career because it's not going to get old anytime soon because she nails it every single time.
I don't know. I think eventually it would get old. At a point, it's going to be too gimmicky. At least not for me. Everybody has different things, but yeah.
Well, she went 6 months as something else. So
she was a rookie. She was an up-and-comer.
But the thing is, look at and I would beg Tony Khan, if he ever listened to anyone on the internet, the fact when he gets behind somebody, like right behind him, like he's pushing they're behind her gimmick. They still shoot her in black and white. She has the lights. They're behind Ricochet, trying to when he gets all wrapped around, they succeed. So if he would just look at some of these guys who he's kind of on the side of, where he's like, I kind of like you, like he puts his arm out, you're okay. Those guys don't make it. Archer. Yeah. He's like, yeah, you guys will come out and, do whatever. When he gets that machine behind them, like Tony is your star. You want to go everywhere to go. She should be on Good Morning America. She should be, anytime they have a pay-per-view, she should be the one they send. So I just hope, I hope he kind of sees that and goes, okay, I want all those people I want to do this for all my guys, and then we'll see how they pan out. But yeah, she's just the best thing they have going.
I got a fun fact for you, JGold. Ian and I were there the last night that Toni Storm was in WWE.
No, yeah, that was bad.
Was that she got cake or whatever on her face?
Yeah, it was a double taping in Chicago during Christmas time, and she got cake in her face. And I was literally sitting there next to Ian. I go, that might be the last time we see Toni Storm in WWE.
I remember that show too. Because I was falling asleep again. I guess that's on character. I fall asleep during
that was a
Vince
show. That was a Vince
oh my
show
gosh, it was
fall
so bad.
Asleep. Oh, come on.
It was. I mean, it was like what, probably 5 hours of taping.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was not pay-per-view level.
No, it was not. I think that's the point, though, Bill. The stupid ass laugh.
Yeah,
you hate it. That's the point, brother. He's got you, Bill. Us bald people know how to piss people off, I think. Speaking of bald, Tim said, I get we can boo and cheer whoever we want, but why does Ricochet get all the hate for being bald? Bald is beautiful.
I'll be there one day, brother. I don't hate.
I don't, I think in AEW he's found his calling. I think in WWE he just pissed people off as far as who he is. Like, everyone's just like, all right already. In AEW, they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is something different. Like, way to go.
He's just a superhero in WWE.
Yeah. He could have
let him be a person.
Right.
And again, last night, I'm sure we're not going to talk about Dynamite.
No, we're not going to have enough time to talk about Dynamite.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Talk about whatever you want.
Ricochet's promo last night was another telltale sign. Again, the guy is locked in his character, and him with Prince Nana. Shout out Prince Nana. I forgot that dude could cut a promo, not just dance. That was awesome. I was emotionally invested in that promo, and I know for a fact Nana's not going to wrestle anymore. That takes a lot for Ricochet to do, especially getting all the hate that he's been getting for his promos. Again, it's not go away heat because he's still there and doing very well.
And the internet wrestling community did not disappoint again as they bitched about him in his robe when that robe is Jimmy Rave's robe, and Jimmy Rave and Nana were to get like, stop, just stop, shut up, like stop crying. And someone's comparing it to CM Punk's bracelet, and it's like, just stop, just let them breathe, let the story breathe. Jesus Christ, like it just
you're telling me wrestling fans complain?
My God, all they do.
They're right.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm a big proponent of not tweeting out negativity. I think that does nothing for the business. We want to see the business grow. But I will criticize and I will give my honest opinion on the podcast, which I think is fair. We're not doing this from a hate standpoint. It's constructive criticism because we love all professional wrestling. We don't just watch WWE. We don't stay in that bubble. We like to watch every single thing. And that goes for the network as a whole here at the Main Event.
Yeah.
And that's why I love what we got going here. Because we're not going to hate on shit just to hate on shit. You know?
And I couldn't agree with you more. There's a lot of people who complain and then they say to me, well, how can you watch that? Or how can you? And I go, I'm watching it because if we stop watching it, it won't be there when I have grandkids. Or like I used to say, I want to hear so that I can do it with my kid. Now my kid is going to be 10 and we watch it and we go to shows and it's still here. Like I keep telling people, you just watch it. And I don't take it that personally. Like I watch it because I want it. I want it here. I don't want it to go anywhere. Like, so if you're going to go nuts on a guy for wearing a robe or the feud is based around a robe, you're going to run out of things to get upset about. There's only so much you can write about. Two guys are going to fight. How are they going to fight? There's only so many ways they're going to fight. Like you did something to me. That's it. Like
it's a perfect thing I've started saying is like The Walking Dead. I was a huge Walking Dead fan, and the show started falling off. It fell off a cliff. I still watched it because I loved The Walking Dead. I didn't like what was on the TV, but I watched it every single week. And whenever it was good, it was good. When it was bad, I didn't go and watch some other show in spite of The Walking Dead. Why would I? I'm invested in this. This is fun. I'm having a good time. I've been here before. This is a good time at one point. Maybe it'll spark that imagination again.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nobody happier when it got better than me. When Vince left, I was like, everything is like, God damn it, I could watch it like again with like not getting this pit of anxiety where I'm like, this sucks. Like, again, this sucks. Do you remember WrestleMania after Raw? What was it, 2 years ago when Vince took over? And it was the worst. Do you know how sad I was? Like I was asleep like I lost a cat or something. You know, like I
was in LA. That was my very first Mania I attended, and we debated staying for that Raw after because we thought it was going to be a spectacular show because WrestleMania 39 was a great WrestleMania.
Yes.
And you're not kidding. That was probably the worst Raw after Mania I think I've ever saw.
Ever. It was I remember I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this going to get better? Like I kept watching. I'm like, no surprises. Like, nothing is getting better. There is no story that I want to follow. Like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It was just so depressing. Like, I don't know. I feel like those days are over, but at least we got through it and, you know, whatever. It can't be any worse than COVID wrestling, but at least it was wrestling.
True that. Tim said, I still stand by the argument that the feud with Bret Hart against the Pirate over him stealing Bret's jacket was legit. This is pretty much a modern day rendition of it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Which pirate, Tim? Paul Burchill?
You lost me on that one.
Tim, you were a little bit
older
older
believe
than
you.
us. Notice I didn't say a lot. A little bit older.
Was it PCO? Wait, was PCO the pirate? I think it was. It was probably PCO.
He follows me on X.
Yes, Tim. Yes, I knew it. It was PCO.
PCO.
Yes.
Okay.
That dude's insane. I was at the GCW show a couple weeks ago where he smashed the TNA internet title and he went rogue out of nowhere. That was nuts. But that dude's crazy. Yeah, all right, good. Thanks, Tim.
By the way, we got a celebrity in the chat. Sergio talks to Triple H, and I agree with Robbie. Tell Triple H we said hi, and he can listen to this show whatever he wants, and we'll give him free booking ideas.
Yeah.
So
fine with me.
Thanks, Sergio. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, appreciate you tuning in, man. Seriously, we appreciate you tuning in. We laugh, but
yeah. All right.
I can't. Sorry. I'm done. Do we want to talk about anything else? I did have a lot of other things like this match being announced. Do we want to touch on this? Ian, you seem to have something you want to talk about.
Yeah, because we had a text message going while Raw was happening. And I was a bit concerned about Raw. Again, it's kind of we just had that long spiel about wrestling and tribalism, but
you're concerned a lot.
Yeah, WWE was concerning to me this week. Not NXT. NXT was fantastic, but Raw was it didn't feel like a Raw of Netflix.
No.
And it felt weird. There were some announcements that were fantastic. The wrestling was okay. It just didn't have any big moments where you're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna remember this Raw. And again, everybody has.
You mean
like,
this week?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I want to get your guys' thoughts. Like, obviously, my thoughts they don't mean shit, but that's how I felt.
Hater.
I am. Yeah, I am. I hate them.
No,
not every show needs to be a home run.
Yeah, no, they have to further things. And Gunther, I thought his promo was great. I love.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the show.
Him and Samoa Joe are my two favorite wrestlers. Like, there's nobody else that I like right now as much as them. But he understood it right there. He did it. and he threw his jacket at the kid, and like he got Pat McAfee all revved up, and like
that's the Gunther we want, not the Gunther that looks vulnerable. This is what we fell in love with.
The guy who's not supposed to lose ever. Like the guy who's you come out and challenge him for the IC title, and he's like, it doesn't matter if you're out here, I'm just going to kill you, and then I'm going to move on to the next guy. Like I don't know. I'm having trouble visualizing WrestleMania with Gunther losing that belt to Jey Uso. Like it's just upsets me.
I think it's happening. I think it's happening.
It is.
I think
it just
Jey
upsets
Uso's 100% chance of winning.
No, he is. That's
crazy.
what's upsetting me. Like in my head, I'm like, oh man, like then what do you do with Gunther? Yeah, like do you send him over to SmackDown and let him take the belt from Cody?
How do you recover from that?
They have 4 guys who can't recover. Yeah, they have 4 guys who can't recover. You can't. Cody, when he loses his belt, I don't know where he goes. Roman floating around without a main event at WrestleMania right now is crazy to me. What happens to Gunther when he loses? I don't like. And then and a guy like Solo lost. Like they're lost. They're kind of floating in this sea of like, where do we go? So
it's like a holding pattern until they want to ramp things up for WrestleMania, which is another critique I see online. I mean, wrestling fans will bitch about anything. We've talked about that. But, like, it doesn't feel like the build to WrestleMania 40. Well, no shit. You don't have The Rock on the build. That was a big motivating factor last year. And once again, not every WrestleMania is going to outdo the previous WrestleMania. Like, it doesn't need to be better than WrestleMania 40 for me to enjoy WrestleMania 41.
But you have 2 days. Like, the problem is there is no marquee right now. What's the marquee that's selling us the show?
Can't answer until Elimination Chamber.
I mean, Tiffany and Charlotte's probably the better match of the 2 that are announced. At the Jey Uso Gunther match, I think that Tiffany and Charlotte could put on a better match than Jey Uso.
But do you want to? Will CM Punk Cody sell tickets? Yeah, but is it the main event I want? I don't know. Is
Cena Cody?
Right. Is Cena Cody the one that's? Have you like we look at John Cena now? He's like watching George Foreman when he was 50 as a champ. You know what I mean? Like, I love him, and he can probably knock you out once or twice, but like, holy moly, John.
To be fair, the hair needs to go. But to be fair, I think that is the point of the whole Cena run. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is the point of the Cena run. Again, he hasn't won since like 20. It was like 17 or something like that. 2018. Yeah, he hasn't won since then, and. It's when you keep having them lose, then, I mean, half the year goes by and that sneaks up. That's when it kind of gets scary where it's like, oh boy, oh gosh, Bill Moss, Cody Rhodes versus Goldberg, that'll sell tickets, pal.
Is John Cena Randy the Ram? Like,
you just made the list!
I don't. Is he supposed to be like Randy the Ram? Like he's like in The Wrestler? Like that's it for John Cena? Like he's gonna like get beat up a bunch and like
he's winning.
We're going to see more of John Cena, which, by the way, Ian, head to the private chat. We got to decide on who the MVM is going to be. But yeah, I would like to see more of John Cena, and then just him being announced for like PLEs and then the international tour, which I get. He should go on the international tour because that's the last time they're going to have a chance to see him. But like, come on, you build this as the final year for John Cena. Give us John Cena.
Right. He should be at every show. What's he doing that's so important right now? I think Peacemaker's already done filming. I watched a John Cena Jackie Chan movie during COVID. Whoo boy, that was awful. It was in front of like a green screen and it was just
Blockers wasn't good either. Did you see Blockers?
I have friends who said it was hilarious.
I like that movie. I understand it's a cheesy comedy. It's kind of like an Adam Sandler.
Maybe because I watched it with my ex and I hate that bitch, so that could be it too. She'll never see this. She has me blocked on all social media accounts.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that kind of relationship. You're blocked from all over the place.
Guys, so I forgot to mention, Sergio said Triple H told him no more WWE.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to end the podcast, and he's not kidding, guys.
Full AEW
he told
podcast.
him by email, and he said no more pay-per-views either. So not just no WWE, they took away the pay-per-views.
Sergio, I hate to. Sergio, they're called right. They're called PLEs now.
So I'm starting to believe Sergio doesn't have a contact with Triple H.
What?
We've been fooled.
I tell you what, guys. There is a lot that we wanted to touch on, but we just don't have the time. I did want to talk about Sami and KO, which is going to be outstanding, but we will touch on that match and dive deeper into it next week when we talk about Elimination Chamber. That's all we're talking about next week. So if you want to get a deep dive on more WWE stuff, everything WWE is coming your way next week. But guys, one last thing. I do want to touch on this because we did talk about NXT. What do we think about the name change? Ricky Saints. Ian?
It needs to grow on me. I mean, again, I knew him in AEW as Ricky Starks. Like, it's okay. It's not a bad name change by any means. It's just like I need to see it first. It needs to connect with me because we said the same thing about Gunther. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. What do you think about Ricky Saints?
It's better than Alan Cornflakes, which one of my friend had said to me, wouldn't that be great? And I said, I don't mind it. Look, he came out and was like, all right, it's still Ricky. Like, I think people would have been upset if it was like Bobby Saints or something like that. And you're like, oh man.
Or Ricky Saints, Genevieve is what he said. It's a play on his
home. Like it's you know what? We got Daniel Bryan over and Gunther worked out, and you know, it has nothing to do with the name change. I don't understand the randomness of it, right? It's Ethan Page, it's Julia, it's Stephanie Vacker, and then Delta has to change her name, and Rick and what's his name? Now Ricky has to change his name, and I'm having trouble understanding the randomness of either owning the name or whatever. And I'm sure there's a story, but
there's a lottery. You just got to pull it out of the hat.
That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to say something about Raw. It's very quick. Penta, he needs a new theme, and he needs to come in with the Penta El Set. The whole thing, the thing that he had in AEW, where it's his own voice yelling Cero Miedo, because I don't think Cero Miedo could be so big, like with the crowd. It's not there because it's not in the song, and it
is in the song.
You don't want Def Rebel. We don't want Def Rebel getting it. We don't want Def Rebel getting their hands on anything.
That's a fair point.
Don't touch.
This isn't even Def Rebel though, guys. I have the song on my playlist. It's not from Def Rebel.
Who is it? Who's it called? What's
Let me find it. Keep talking.
No, my thing is,
Sergio,
I'm so.
What do you got?
Yeah, Sergio. Are they changing it?
It's by Suave.
Oh, that's interesting.
There you go. There's the theme.
I don't know.
If you want to check it out.
I'm just so used to that theme in AEW.
You just hate WWE.
Yeah, I did. Well, I've told you about 50 million times. I'm never buying their merch, by the way. WWE, I'm never buying your merch at all.
Yeah. To answer Robbie's question, you want to show him what the hat is?
Yeah. It's well, I'm not. I can just get a little closer. This was from the Royal Rumble, and it is a beautiful hat and at a reasonable price too. There's a few reasons, by the way, not to buy WWE merch, and one of them is that Fanatics does all of it, and Fanatics stuff is so bad.
Hey, you can't do that on this show. I'm sorry, because we are a WWE shop affiliate. Because if you scan that QR code that's in the corner right now, JGold, shut your whore mouth.
Yeah,
scan that QR code the next time you want to buy that great WWE merch.
Right?
Yeah, we're trying.
Sorry,
we're trying.
right.
We're trying to get on those WWE reaction compilations for the trailers.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
they always put that Wheezy blonde girl and that one Santy Zap guy. Put us on there.
The same dude who, he's watching. He's like calling it out, and you're like, oh my god, this guy.
One last thing from Sergio. He doesn't like Triple H at all. All Triple H wants more money than Vince McMahon. There you go.
For Vince, he wants more money for him, and Triple H, he only cares about himself, as you all know. So,
good point.
Jeez,
good point.
That's
Sergio, you're the man.
All right, guys. Maybe we will have to get Sergio on OTM, Robbie. We'll have our people talk to his people for sure. So slide in our DMs, Sergio, and I'm totally kidding when I say that. Let's get to the MVM of OTM. If you're not familiar what MVM stands for, it is the most valuable mark. It's not just about how many comments, it's the quality of comments here during our live streams. And Bill Moss has had a great run as MVM. I believe it has been almost a month as champion, but sometimes big time reigns have to end. And this guy is pretty vicious. Ladies and gentlemen, and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Tim Vicious.
Yeah, fantastic. Why he got my vote. Again, we say the quality of the comments take over the quantity of comments. We love the quantity of comments. It gives us something to talk about for our filler time because obviously we have no idea what we're talking about, so we need some filler. But anyway, Tim Vicious, when you shock our guests in your independent wrestling knowledge and you get JGold gets a little excited talking about some independent wrestling, that's some quality comments. So shout out Tim Vicious. You deserve it, my man.
I think this is his second reign as MVM, so it seems like he is very happy. He said, "You really like me." Yeah, we had you on this podcast. What was it, last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't know. We're having a guest on every week, which, by the way, you probably saw that tweet. We're looking to collab with as many people as possible because we do have a rotating trio here at OTM. And,
First time?
Wait, there's no way. Oh, I was pulling it up too.
That's
Don't
all right.
worry, I'm usually on top of it. I don't believe that. But hey, congrats to Tim Vicious. First time winning the MVM, apparently. Well deserved. But JGold, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you
boys.
on OTM for the very first time. I'm sure we will be talking to you a lot more, especially on Main Event Mixers. So
yeah.
Go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug coming up. And yeah.
If I could say Robbie Collins, thanks, man. That's very nice. I appreciate it, brother. Let's check out Indie Wrestling Guide, IW Guide 1 on Twitter and X, IW Guide on Blue Sky, IW Guide on Instagram, and we are the episode's out today. So if you're interested in hearing about Aspen the Mermaid, she's been around for a really long time, about 10 years in the Indies. Check us out next week, our review of Enjoy, and then we get into ETU month. That is Expect the Unexpected. That's a promotion here that's near and dear to me. It's a Long Island, a bunch of Long Island guys. I love them. They do work out of Jersey, and they do a really good job. And they have a tag tournament March 9th that I will be at. And Violence is Forever is one of the teams in the tournament. So you want to check that out. It's going to be on IWTV. And guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's a good laugh, and you guys do a really great show. So thanks so much for having me.
Hey, we appreciate those comments. And like I said, man, it was a lot of fun having you on this show. Be on the lookout for a lot of Main Event Mixers coming up, guys. We have the Elimination Chamber. If you want to see more of JGold, I believe you're joining us, right, for the Elimination Chamber one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you have me, absolutely.
There we go. I don't even know if I've had that conversation with you, so there you go. You're invited. I'll text you off the record. We'll get that all set up. But if you want to catch that, make sure you're following us at mainevent_net. Don't forget, if you want to support this podcast and the Main Event Wrestling Network, head on over to the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. We have plenty of merch available. Robbie Collins DM'd me earlier. He said he's going to go get himself an OTM hat. So be like Robbie. Head to the On The Mark Wrestling Podcast today. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. Like I said, we are live every single Thursday. And now we're starting to do a little bit more on the side. When we go on these wrestling trips, be on the lookout for more and more content. Because, Ian, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but we just surpassed 400 views on the Royal Rumble vlog, so very successful for us.
Yeah, we had a giveaway for that, and we have our winner right below us, which, again, not rigged. I know that is insane odds that it happened.
Congrats, JGold.
We did have to pick what? I think
I love free stuff. Yes.
I think we had to pick 3 different times because the first person didn't respond and the second person
didn't
respond,
show.
I believe.
That's correct.
Yes. So,
Fair.
Again, another giveaway at 500, and it's going to be a Kurt Angle signed figure from Jim Tucker as well.
It's funny that I'm wearing that shirt. We didn't even plan that.
Nice.
I just wanted to represent my bald brother, but that's all we got for you guys this week. We will catch you next week for our Elimination Chamber preview. Thank you all for listening to the On The Mark Wrestling Podcast.